Hey everybody, and welcome to another expanded guide. Today Travis and I are going to be here talking about Leo Anderson, the expedition leader who loves allies. Wow, this is so much nicer doing this in person. It's incredible. So with this one, Leo, he is a guardian, 4/3, 4/1 for his stats. His ability is a reaction after turn begins. Play an ally asset, reducing its cost by 1. His Elder Sign effect is +2. Search the top 3 cards of your deck for an ally asset and draw it. Shuffle your deck. He lives for 8 damage and 6 horror. His deck building is Guardian 0-5, Rogue 0-2, and of course Neutral 0-5. The strengths here that Travis put was a strong stat line, a good economy, and his weaknesses is low foot and not much flexibility, which is very true.
Yeah. It is very unfortunate actually that the blue-green Investigator only has 1 foot. Because there's a lot of neat cards that you could have played if you had a decent foot score if you had 3 in foot instead of that 3 in book. But
yeah. His personal is Mitch Brown, the Soul Survivor. It's a 3-cost asset that commits for double wild, soaks for 2 and 2. You have 2 additional ally slots, which can only be used to hold non-unique allies. So it's basically like a
guard dogs.
Yeah, it's basically just like a charisma that you can use if you're playing like guard dogs.
Yeah.
Or beat cops. Yeah. Or treasure hunters, and some of the stuff we're going to see coming up here.
He does quite often find himself being an unexpected courage, though.
Yes.
Because you don't have a ton of ways to search him out, and so you can't like rely on finding him.
But even then, like, he's still just, like, if you get him in, like, your turn 1, you can just, like, play him.
He's still good if you play him.
Like, even worst case scenario, he's also just, like, a 2/2 soak for 2. Because, like, one thing you have to realize with Leo is that all your ally assets really cost 1 less because you're looking to take advantage of your ability to play them. So that's just something you should have some consideration when you're looking at cards. His personal weakness is bought in blood. Revelation, you must either discard an ally asset you control from play or discard each ally asset from your hand. If no assets are discarded by this effect, shuffle Bot and Blood into your deck. This kills the sled dogs. This is like in most other Leo decks, this card's like kind of just like it sucks, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, you hate it, like
Yeah, but if you're like especially like if you're trying to just like churn through your allies, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But like if you're trying to do like some sort of combo with your allies, this thing it'll go up in its in how much it's going to hurt you. But otherwise, it's not too bad.
No, it's pretty medium as far as personal weaknesses go. So
this is going to be a pretty easy question to answer, Travis, because there's not much flexibility.
Yeah.
But when you look at Leo, when you're building a deck, what are you looking for? what kind of stuff are you looking for?
Well, I want allies and I want ways to kill things.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Like that's what a lot of the cards we're going to talk about are, which are allies, ways to make your allies better, and ways to kill things and get more economy as well.
Yeah, like you do have like a little bit of, there's a tiny bit of flexibility there in that 3 book score, but there aren't a ton of cards in blue and green to take advantage of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because you look at lockpicks and you're like, whee!
You're like, oh, +1.
I've done it. Yeah, but his 4 brain is really nice. Like he actually, and also like he soaks for days, but the 1 foot.
Yeah, it does limit. It limits his card pool a lot.
Yeah, not so much as gameplay.
Yeah, and the 3 book is nice. It is good to just like have that to throw on a random investigation check if you don't need to. If you don't need to fight enemies this turn, or there are a couple green cards that like work with it, like the Treasure Hunter. You can boost it up to 4 and make that a little more reliable. But
yeah. All right, let's dive into the core set. So Travis, I'll throw this first page to you.
Oh my god. Alright, so our first couple cards here, we got a 45 automatic, which is just a nice solid weapon for Leo. You can find that in our weapons video that Jeff's on link below. We got our Beat Cop, who is one of the premier allies for Leo, as it gives you +1 fist, which is great. It is a non-unique ally, which is marginally good with Mitch Brown, and it can just deal free damage, and it soaks a decent amount. It's just all around a really great card for Leo. We've got Machete here, which again is just a nice, easy weapon. Also very on flavor, especially if you're playing the Forgotten Age, that you can find more about in our weapons video. Our guard dog finds his way into a lot of Leo decks as well, being non-unique, having decent soak stats, and also being able to deal testless damage to an enemy. Solid choice. We got Vicious Blow, which you'll find in the same video as the Beat Cop, just +1 fist and +1 damage is really nice in those early scenarios to overcome some of the 3 health enemies. And for green cards, we got Leo DeLuca here. He is a unique ally, so does not work with Mitch Brown, but he soaks 2 and 2, gives you an extra action during your turn. A little pricey at 6, but a little more manageable at 5.
It's kind of funny because the upgrade, well, you basically get the upgraded Leo
For free, yeah.
In Leo, because it makes sense. They have the same name, so they have to work together.
Yeah,
That's
you get to play him free, so that's like, you get like 4 actions the turn you play him, which is pretty sweet.
One thing that, on this channel especially, because the reason he's not in the staples is because Leo's kind of gone like down in value over time. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the time you're going to play him and then just immediately potentially just lose him to a crypt chill, which can feel bad. Luckily you do have 4 brain for this, but also just like be aware of it that like Leo's expensive, and if you're going to want to play Leo,
you need to protect him.
You need to protect him.
Yeah. You need to keep him played for several turns to get the value of him.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we got this elusive card. This is like a very good panic button for Leo, especially with his 1 foot, where if there's enemies that you pop up when you're unprepared or you find yourself getting overwhelmed, you can just kind of peace out.
Mm-hmm.
We got Flashlight here, which you'll find in our clue getting video, and it's Flashlight, man. You got 3 book, and this makes it 5, kind of.
Yeah. Great for 2 shroud locations too. You can just like pick up the clues. Yeah. Leo can flex in a 3-player environment, but it still has to work for a bit. Keeping this going, we got a bunch of staples here.
Look at all those stars.
We got Guts, Overpower, Perception, Unexpected Courage. These all put your non-foot stats, or maybe your foot stats for Unexpected Courage, up higher, and then the Guts, Overpower, and Perception all replace themselves afterwards, assuming you're successful, which we always assume you're successful, right?
Yeah.
Emergency Cash gives you money, which is good because you are going to be wanting to play a lot of allies, so this is a good way to get the money for that. We have Burglary here, so you can exhaust Burglary to investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, gain 3 resources. This is another way to make money in Leo. There are obviously better ways, but if you have a limited collection and you're looking at something to do to get some money just consistently, this is a way that you can at least try it. And because you have 3 book, it's potentially possible to succeed. You don't need to succeed by amount to gain resources, you just gotta succeed to gain resources.
Yeah, this one compare nicely with like Treasure Hunter in particular, which puts you up to 4 and then
pays for him for 3 turns.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it's an okay option, I think.
Yeah. We got the upgraded B-Cop, which is in our Staples video. Basically everything Travis said about B-Cop, but you can use as deal damage more than once, which is really nice.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have upgraded Leo, which it just makes him cheaper.
Leo and Leo,
yeah. It just makes him now only cost 4, which actually is a little bit nicer because then you can, put something else out, like a 2-cost asset that can just, sit there and take up space. Maybe a Burglary.
It is very handy that it makes it easier to set up in those earlier turns where it makes it more reasonable, play the Leo DeLuca, play your Emergency Cash, and still be able to play, a 45 on Mag that costs 4 or something like that, right?
Yeah, definitely. All right, we're on to Dunwich.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. We got our Liquid Courage here. This is a nice way to keep that 6 brain healthy. Usually, Leo doesn't have too many issues with damage and horror due to the big pile of enemies allies that you're throwing out there. But being a guardian, sometimes that brain score can catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Contraband here. One of the few things that Leo is exceptionally good at over other investigators is playing a big gun archetype, gaining access to the big guns from blue, which are the good ones. And then also a decent amount of support cards from green, and Contraband is one of those. We have a Bandolier here next, which is quite handy for Leo in that big gun archetype, where you can have your big gun in 2 hands and then have another weapon for dealing with smaller enemies like rats or cultists or what have you in your offhand. Pretty handy. And then we got our Prepared for the Worst here. Finding those weapons is always going to be important. It's in the Staples video. It's a good card. Lone Wolf's here. It's a nice way to get resources to play things.
Yeah, and even though you have 1 foot, it seems like you don't want to be alone, but you'll just solve the problem by killing it.
Yeah, you're not too scared of most things. In worst case scenario, you're probably going to have enough soak. If there's an enemy you can't handle, you can just walk back. You can just face tank the Grasping Hands or whatever.
Yep.
We got Quick Thinking here, which is in our Green Staple video. Card's pretty good, just at free action when it matters. You're blasting enemies and you need 1 more action to kill them. There you go. Got our Hired Muscle. This is another one of our non-unique allies. Gives you +1 punch, which is great. Costs you 1 to keep around each turn, which is a little tough, but it does soak 3 hearts and 1 brain. It only costs 1 to play, which is actually free with Leo.
Yeah.
Which is, it's great.
Yeah, because basically like pays for him once, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to keep him for like 2 turns, basically, for free. Then we got Brother Xavier here. He is another very solid ally, especially when he costs only 4 and doesn't cost an actual play. Bumping your brain to 5 is fantastic for the Mythos phase. He can take damage and horror from your allies at your location, from your teammates. And 3 and 3 is like a lot.
Yeah.
And then when he dies, he gets to deal Tesla's damage. It's pretty sick.
It's spicy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do 2 slides because this one I don't even have much to say. There's so many little buttons on this. I was like, thank you. We have Switchblade. This is in our weapon video. This one works really well with Leo because he has 4 fist. So this allows him to attack for 6. You do have to succeed by 2 or more to deal +1 damage, but it gives you the 2 you need to succeed by, and you're not like attacking with 3. You're actually attacking with like a pretty good number.
Yeah, 4's pretty usable, and you're probably gonna have an ally and play a booster punch.
Yeah, yeah. We have Relic Hunter and Charisma. These are both staples. Charisma is notably a staple in Leo Anderson. It's like a double staple because like,
extra staple.
Yeah, you care about allies, so you're gonna want to play those allies, right?
Yeah,
So.
This card is particularly important because you can't rely on having Mitch Brown.
Yes, yeah. Kenai, this actually seems pretty great here with Leo. So this is a permanent where you can spend 2 resources to get +1 book or fist until the end of the phase. That's really nice with the with your 3 book. Like you can actually just turn it into like a good number and just grab some clues. And as well, you can also just, if you're fighting a boss monster, just make it even higher. It also works really nice with Switchblade, right? Like if you're doing that as well. And luckily those come in the same cycle. Vicious Blow is the upgraded staple that just keeps on attacking, just more of a good thing. And then Lightning Gun is like the big, exciting gun weapon in this cycle. It's
first big gun weapon.
Yeah.
+5's a big number.
It is a big number. All right, I'll keep Carcosa going. It's so much easier with 3 people because you can just like bounce it.
The wrong art.
Oh, use the old art? Yeah.
No, that's the new art.
Oh, yeah.
The old art's the gross one.
Yeah, it's the gross one for first aid. I wonder why I did that. I normally do purposely choose the old art.
It's because the revised corset stuff gets listed first.
Yeah. All right, so we have Let Me Handle This. This is really nice in Leo because your stats that you like care about in the Mythos phase are really good. If someone with like lower brain grabs someone with a brain, you say, hey, I'm going to grab that. If someone grabs an enemy, you say, hey, I'm going to grab that, and then you kill it. He's like, Leo is just a really good user of Let Me Handle This. Apart from, like, I'm actually pretty sure it's in our staple videos. I just didn't tag it as a staple, but it can be. We talk more about it there.
Especially when you boost that brain up to 6. Like,
yeah, you're not going to fail that test.
Nah.
Heroic Rescue. Play when a non-elite enemy would attack another investigator location. Engage that enemy. It resolves its attack against you, then you deal it 1 damage. This is nice in Leo because you have the soak to have this the downside not be that much of a downside. In addition, like it's really good at just allowing someone else to just go do their thing while then you take the enemy and just say, hey, you're my problem now.
Yeah.
Calling in favors allows you to return an ally and then look at the top 9 and then play an ally where its cost is X less, but which is the cost of the ally you return to your hand. I think you should probably know by the amount of times I said ally in that sentence that this is going to work well in Leo.
It's on the card 3 times.
Yeah, like it's it's good.
If you do want to focus on the non unique allies and Mitch Brown, this card you need to have this as a 2 of because it's like I think it's the only way you can actually dig allies out of your deck.
In this color, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only other way is Flare.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is red, yeah. Inspiring Presence, that is Leo on the art, so the rule is if you're on the art, your card better be good for you. So this one allows you, if it's successful, ready an ally at your location, heal 1 damage or 1 horror from it.
It's got all the stats he's good at, too.
It has all the stats he's good at, too. Like, it's literally, it's made for him. We have Watch This. You can gamble resources up to 3. If you succeed by 1 or more, gain twice the money that you gambled with. Economy, you want more cards. You're probably going to be able to pass a fist test, no problem.
Yeah.
Even like a brain test, depending. Like if you do like a Let Me Handle This and to Watch This, you basically said the same thing twice, which is like it's going to work out well for you. Ever Vigilance, a staple. Just play 3 assets from your hand, reducing the resource cost by 1 each. This is really good. Because it allows you to potentially play some allies, but also it allows you to also play your weapons and then have some money for your allies afterwards. 45 automatic, just a gun that shoots more.
Better version of the other one.
Yeah. And then we have first aid. If it has no supplies on it, discard it. You can spend a supply to heal a damage or horror from an investigator or an ally at your location. So once again, that ally makes this a little bit more noticeable because healing a damage and a horror from your beat cop seems pretty good. Yeah. Even just from like
guard dog.
Even just like just healing can be good if you have downtime.
Yeah, it's better than like just taking a resource most of the time probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, Travis.
Cool. We got our level 2 41 Derringer here. This one gives you +2 punch, and if you succeed by 1 or more, you get to deal extra damage, which shouldn't be too difficult when you're at 6 base. And then once per turn, if you succeed by 3 or more, you get an extra action. So it's like just a solid option for Leo.
Mm-hmm.
We got Stick to the Plan, which is always very good for Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
Search your deck for up to 3 different tactics and their supply cards, put them in Stick to the Plan, and then you can play one of them per turn as though they were in your hand. It's just really good at making sure that what you intend to happen in the early game happens every game.
Yeah, so it's like, for example, we could probably make a video talking about what people can take on Stick to the Plan, but the some of it is like Ever Vigilance good, the one we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I now like to put like I'd go to a 1 unprepared for the worst and put that on my Stick to the Plan, and if I don't cast it, congratulations, I just took it out of my deck, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of other good tactics and supplies that you can just have on there.
Yeah. And last we got Kiev. It's a pretty good card.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. Not much more to say. It's just good.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, Travis, why don't you keep it going?
Yeah. We got our Survival Knife here. This is Leo's home cycle, so you can bet a bunch of these cards are going to be good for him. Our Survival Knife, it lets you punch a +1 punch, and then when an enemy attack deals damage to you during the enemy phase, you can exhaust it to attack them back, which is pretty good when you're just trying to cycle through your allies and let them take the damage. You know, you stab a guy, and then in the enemy phase, he attacks your guard dog. Guard dog bites him, you stab him, and he's dead.
Sounds like a good exchange, yeah.
Got our Venturer here. This is another non-unique ally who allows you to refill your guns or other things sometimes, but mostly your guns.
Yeah.
We got our Trusted here. It's a 1 cost fast, play only during your turn, attached to an ally you control, gives it +1 health and +1 sanity. There's a couple cards this works exceptionally well with. Cards like Be Cop and Guard Dog. This is a common theme. Allowing them to take that extra point it is really nice, and also it functions pretty well with First Seed as well, giving them a little more durability, a little more value there. We got our Decorated Skull. This is an accessory slot for Leo. Not too many of those. And after an investigator, ally, or enemy at your location defeated, you put a charge on the skull, and as an action, you can spend a charge to draw a card and gain 1 resource. It's like a little bit of economy compression. It's like a little slow, but it's still okay. Mm-hmm. We got You Handle This one. It's our Green Staple video. This one is the other side of Let Me Handle This, where you can pass off things that you don't want to other people, like foot tests. Mostly, yeah.
Basically, whatever was not on the Let Me Handle This is.
Yeah. We got a Lucky Cigarette Case and a contender for our accessory slot, where after you succeed a skill test by 2 or more, you can exhaust, draw a card. Drawing cards can be nice for Leo and keep your handful of allies, play with his ability, especially if you're playing the sort of meat grinder Leo, where you're just throwing out enemies to take damage and horror for you and moving along with your life. Mm-hmm. Got Take the Initiative here. It's in our Guardian Staple video. Basically just +3 during the Mythos phase, and it's good.
Yeah.
At level 0. Lastly, we got Backpack, which is our Neutral Staple video, and helps you find your things. I
think this has made me realize, maybe we're just getting, a good showing, but I think that, apart from Dunwich, this probably has the most staples outside of Core Set. There's some good cards in Forgotten Age.
There are.
All right, so we have Reliable. So you can attach this to an item as you control, and while resolving a triggered ability on attached asset, you get +1 to each of your skills. This is good with the guns you're going to be shooting. It's going to be good with the Switchblade you're going to be using. It's even all right with the Knuckle Dusters if you're like me and you're a maniac. But basically, just make your weapons better. That's what this card does.
Yep.
Right?
Very strong on the melee cards in particular.
Yeah. Look at that. Well Prepared's on here twice. That's the first time that's happened.
Oh, no.
it looks like I was not well prepared when I made this video.
No.
Treasure Hunter. This is the guy we've been talking about going for the book. So it's the same as the Hired Muscle that we talked about earlier. +1 book. At the end of the upkeep phase, you must either pay 1 resource or discard Treasure Hunter. just gets your book up to 4. Works really well with the burglary. Like, if you're doing like a flex Leo, you can look at Treasure Hunter and Hired Muscle as kind of a way to flex between those. It could be kind of fun.
So very strong for the meat grinder build.
Yes.
Yeah. It's free to play.
Yeah, get in the meat grinder.
Yep.
And then you just kill them. We have 2 well prepareds. You can exhaust it. Choose an asset you control. You get +1 skill value for the skill test for X's number of matching skill icons in the chosen asset. You're going to notice is even just like looking at, for example, the M1918 and the flamethrower that, and even the treasure hunter, like they're going to have symbols that kind of do what they do, right? So it's just going to make those cards even better. The M1918 bar, the Time Worn brand, and the flamethrower are all in our weapon video, and they just shoot or whack really well. Maybe not the M9. I don't even know what this one does that much, but we talk about it there.
It's very good with the ammo-centric cards. Things like
Contraband?
Like Contraband,
Double
Swift Reload.
16. Yeah, that does seem sick. I'm surprised Brent hasn't done that. I mean, he did the sniper and turned into a tree then instead.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this one, though. That'd be sick.
I built that deck and actually, good, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, where you don't turn into a tree and don't lose.
It's not advised.
Yeah, we got the Circle Undone next here. We got Steadfast, which gives you Brain and Fist symbols, depending on how much health you have remaining. Shouldn't be too hard to keep those scores high with all the allies you have to take soak for you. And those are both stats that you want more symbols of.
Yeah.
We got our 45 Thompson, which is a great level 0 weapon for Leo. This is both his colors. Just +2 punch puts you up to 6 and +1 damage, 5 shots. Great starting point for the big guns deck, and just like a solid weapon in general. Next up, we got the Enchantment Blade. Another solid melee weapon, especially if you're playing with Taboo. This is one of our go-tos for that. Both of those cards you'll find in the weapon video as well. We got Decoy here. This one is here because it lets Leo evade things on the off chance that that's something you really need to do.
Yeah.
It commits for 2 foot, like in a pinch, but for the most part, you just get to evade a guy without making a test. It's nice for Leo.
Yeah, because your test won't be good at 1. It won't be a good test.
No, you have to try
so hard.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
We got Hollow Mirror here, and it's bonded cards, Soothing Melody. These are also cards that heal allies, which is good, as we mentioned before.
I'll be completely honest. I didn't know they healed allies. I've only played this. I've actually only played Soothing Melody a few times, but yeah, it heals out. That seems really awesome.
Hollow Mirror is really good.
That's really good. And then the upgraded one, it's even better.
With the draw card, you just I'll just put it back in my deck. Both those upgrade ones are kind of ridiculous, actually. But we got our blue upgrade 45 Thompson. Unfortunately, they cannot play the green one, but this one is very valuable for him as for your 3 experience, you get to take the money back as you shoot it.
I love this card. I love it. It's just such a good, you're just I'm going to pay 6 now and get 5 back.
Yeah, it's just such a good quality of life card, too.
Yeah.
We got Ace of Swords, which is the blue tarot card. Just gives you +1 punch. 5 punches, more than 4.
It is, yeah. Well maintained. You can attach to an item as you control. After attached essence is discarded, return it to its owner's hand. Each other upgrade attachment that was attached to it. This could be good, if you want to do some combo stuff with your weapons and then just do it again, or if you're playing with, for example, the grenades, which we have here because the well-maintained grenades is just always a good time. Enchanted Blade and grenades we talk about in greater detail in our weapon video, which you can find in the description. They're just more ways to kill, and the Enchanted Blade also can heal core and draw cards, which is good economy.
Both things that you like.
Yeah. And then we have I've Had Worse, which looks like a damage prevention card, but it's really just an economy card. You pull off the mask, oh my god, it's Faustian Bargain. But it's when you would dealt damage in a horror, cancel that and gain that many resources.
Yeah, you'll notice that we have the level 2 version of I've Had Worse here, but not the level 4 version in the from the Dunwich expansion. It's because the level 4 version, it's just you're never really taking 5 damage or horror. I mean, it's a fine card, especially if you don't have the level 2 version available to you. But it's just too much. It's excessive, you know.
But it's the I've Had Worse 4 is that person who's tells the stories that get more and more elaborate. It's I met Hugh Jackman and he told me I would be a great Wolverine. You're sure. I didn't even believe that you met Hugh Jackman, right? So it's just doing a little bit too much. Yeah. Right, I'll keep this going into Dream Eaters here. We have Solemn Vow. So you can. This is Myriad. So Myriad, you can play up to 3 of them. You play under the control of another investigator location. If the owner is at your location, they can exhaust Solemn Vow, move 1 damage or horror from a card you control to a card that investigator controls. So they basically can move damage and horror from them onto your ally assets. This is a good way to get your friends to help you in Meat Grinder Leo, but also outside of that, it's just a good way to keep your other people alive with soak you're going to have a lot of. And worst case, it commits for 2 brain, which is good.
Which is really the part that I think makes this card like actually good.
Playable, yeah. We have First Watch. You instead of resolving cards during the Mythos phase, you draw X, where X is the number of players. You divvy them out, giving no more than 1 to any player other than you.
All the enemies.
Yeah. Take all the enemies, take all the brain tests, give everything else, give the foot test to other people.
Really strong with Flamethrower.
Yes, just come to me, children, and then burn them all up.
Mm-hmm.
Daring, it gives you 3 wilds for an attack or an evade. It gives
attack.
them... Yes. It gives them retaliate and alert, so for the attack is important here.
Yeah.
Then it replaces itself after it ends. You don't even need to succeed, but you probably will.
Yeah, like just play this overpower if you can.
Yeah.
Basically.
Tetsuo, he's a fantastic ally, and he's even better at 2 resources. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
But he can take damage or horror for other investigators, and when he dies, you can grab an item asset from the top 9 cards of your deck, so basically prepared for the worst for all items.
So good.
Or you can grab it from your discard pile. So, like...
It's not just you, it's any
investigator,
yeah. Location, yeah. He's so good.
Man, can we see Tetsuo grenades? Just he keeps, like, dying and bringing them back.
I brought you these and you're like, thank you.
Yeah. Easy Mark is becoming one of my most played cards. I think, like, it's just 1 experience for 3 copies of a card that gain 2 resources and draw a card. If you have another Easy Mark in your hand, you can play it at no cost.
Yeah, it's so easy to just put these into your green decks for the 1 experience because you get all 3 copies from Myriad. And, like, green's level 0 economy is so lackluster compared to what the class wants to do. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to put in.
Yeah.
It's so good.
We have Fool Me Once, which is after when a treachery card... when you discard a treachery card after resolving its effects, you can attach that card to Fool Me Once, and then the next time someone draws it, you can discard that card and Fool Me Once to cancel that card's revelation effect. Just Mythos deck protection.
Yeah. It's a fine card.
Really good in campaigns like Circle Undone, where you can just neutralize some aspects of the game, but overall it's still just a fine Mythos protection. Swift Reload, this is the one Travis was mentioning earlier about firearms, and the support that would allows him to do big guns because he can take advantage of the green cards here. And Swift Reload's really nice, where you get it loaded up to its ammo value, which is like, for a lot of weapons, it's really good. Like the M1918, right?
Yeah,
like that's
like
just...
you get to pay 3 money to replay the weapon instead, and also you don't have to play the weapon.
Yeah. And that's even better because it's fast, right? Because it doesn't cost an action. And if you have anything attached to that weapon, like a reliable, it's just like, keep it going, right?
Yep.
And then we have Safeguard, the level 0 version. After an investigator moves, you can move with them. You move after them in the level 0 version, but you're a goon, and the less actions you have to spend moving, the better.
Level 0 version is not from this expansion, it's the level 2 version.
Ah, frick! Yeah, so sometimes what happens too is that when, like, the Arkham DB, it labels the level 2 version. That's because I just click on frick. So this is the level 2 version. This one you do move with them, so you move in at the same time, so you actually can grab the enemies. It's also for the remainder of the turn.
Yes, you can move multiple locations with them, whereas the level 0 version, you only get to move once.
Yeah. Man, it'd be so funny if we get to the Investigator Decks and the upgraded ones there.
That would be good.
That would be great. All right, Travis, I want to keep it going.
Yeah, we got our upgrade bro right here. This one is mostly going to be a quality of life upgrade for Leo. It's got 2 books on, which is pretty handy for if you're playing a well-prepared deck. Lets you investigate, and if you succeed instead of getting clues, you get 2 resources and an additional one for each point you succeed by. So if you're barely scraping by at 0, then you're getting less resources, but if you're succeeding by at least 2, then you are getting more.
Yeah.
So we are our level 2 heroic rescue here. This one has slightly more symbols, costs no money, and then it works if the enemy, or if the investigator and the enemy are at an adjacent location as well, or connected location, I should say, as well as at your location, which is just like more flexible, and you're gonna get a lot more use out of it with that. Mm-hmm. We are level 2 leadership here. While the level 0 leadership is pretty lackluster, this one is an economy card, and that's really good. Yeah, money good. We are Empty Vessel, a level 4 accessory. One of my favorites like blue kind of cherry on top cards, I think.
Yeah.
Really strong coming into the late campaign, where after you kill an enemy, you get to put a charge on it, and then when you have at least 3 charges, you can wait till there's more if you'd like. They flip into the Wish Eater, which gets charged for each charge that was on the empty vessel. And after you reveal one of the non-auto-fail symbol tokens, you can spend a charge to cancel that token and heal a damage and a horror. So it's healing. And also, you just get to pass your tests.
Yeah.
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 And then if you empty it, it just turns back to the empty vessel and you can recharge it again.
That's the best part.
Yeah. It is limit 1 per deck, which is a little tough, but between Backpack and Tetsuo Mori, it should not be difficult to find this at some point. And lastly, we have the Black Cat, who is probably the best soak ally in the game.
Yeah.
At least, like, definitely the best one that Leo can play.
Yeah, if you're going to play the Black Cat in Leo, make sure you have a plan to avoid a bottom blood, because nothing will feel worse than playing this and then just losing.
Your 5 XP cat?
Yeah. You're like...
Yeah. Yeah, but this guy takes 3 and 3, and then it turns the squid and the tombstone into -1s, and then a damage or a horror on the Black Cat. We get to start, get +5, and you just heal the Black Cat.
This is actually nice too, because at a certain point, the Elder Sign effect on Leo becomes noticeably worse.
Yeah.
And then just turning into a +5, even if he has no damage on him, could be...
+5's...
You're gonna pass.
Man, like, if you're doing a test and a +5 doesn't make you pass, what happens?
Yeah, I know. You're basically doing like even like a circle action. You can get that no problem.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild. All right, Innsmouth.
Yeah, so Innsmouth is a little bit weird if you've watched some of these other videos, because they're focused heavily on the Bless and the Curse archetypes. Leo can play into the Bless one pretty decently with the blue 0 to 5 access, and like okay into the Curse one. Mm-hmm. Most notably, there's some of the green cards care about Bless tokens as well.
Yeah.
And then there's a handful of cards like Rheostrad and stuff like that you might want to play, but you can go check out those archetype videos that we linked in the description for more information about those. But there are a couple of cards here that are exceptionally good for Leo. We have our Faustian Bargain, which is 5 money, and also put some curse tokens in the bag, but who cares, because you have 5 money.
Yeah.
Then we have our level 2 Holy Rosary, which is another very nice card for the accessory slot. It gives you +1 brain. And then after you succeed a brain test on Treachery, you can exhaust it to add 2 Bless tokens to the Chaos bag, which is just like a nice sort of bonus that you get. You might get to pass a test that otherwise wouldn't, or it'll help you get the extra damage in your Switchblade or whatever. It also takes 2 brain damage, which is it's good. It's good. The last one we have here is the Enchant Weapon, which you can stick onto a weapon. It gives the weapon the Relic trait and takes up an additional Arcane slot in addition to its other slots, which you probably don't care about, especially if it's your weapon. And then when you fight with a weapon, you can exhaust the Enchant Weapon to add your brain to your fist for the attack, and the attack deals +1 damage, which is +4 for you, which is a lot.
Yeah, you're going to pass.
Yeah. This card
barring an autofail or your 2 curse tokens off of Faustian Bargain.
Yeah, this card is like actually absurdly good on something like Switchblade or Time Worn Brand. You just get to mow through enemies.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the Time Worn Brand, you're basically like making its second action ability, make your own, build your own Time Worn Brand. That's what Enchant Weapon is. They basically were like, let's build our own Time Worn Brand, basically. Yeah. All right, moving on to Edge of the Earth.
Oh, that's the big one.
Yeah. So, a lot of nice cards here in this one here for Leo. We have Toe to Toe. This attack deals +1 damage. It's automatically successful. Additional cost to perform this attack. The chosen enemy makes an attack against you. This kind of with Get Behind Me too, which allows it to, an end of phase, whenever an enemy would attack another investigator location and attacks you instead, then engages you. Cancel 1 horror. Basically, these work in the same kind of thing where like they deal with enemies, they help solve problems, and you also have a lot of soak, so it's not really a problem.
Yeah.
Toe to Toe, I think, is a really good card, and anyone that has like allies that they're planning to soak for, or like stuff like that, because it's just a free attack. It's automatically successful, and the way how some of the words in this game work, you actually can commit like a vicious blow to this attack as well.
Yeah, you can also, it's also pretty strong with some of the green cards that care about how much you succeed by. Because when you automatically succeed, you just get to compare your skill value to whatever the skill test value is, I believe.
I think it's dropped to 0.
Really?
I think it might be dropped to 0, yeah.
Whatever. It makes it really easy to trigger things like your lucky cigarette case.
Even like your watch this, like a watch this on toe-to-toe is just like free money, baby. Yeah. Wow.
Justin just, oh my god.
We have 21 or Bust, which is by no means, it's just super fun. Like, I'm always happy when someone plays a 21 or Bust.
Yeah.
Basically, you reveal tokens. You play blackjack with the token bag. And if you get 21, you gain 9 resources. 20, you gain 6. 18 or less, you gain 4. You're looking to gain at least, like, if you do 19 or higher, you're basically an emergency cash, which, like...
It's good.
The part of 21 or Bust is having fun gambling, right? Yeah. Like, you're playing it to have fun. It's not, like, super consistent, but it is hella fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of note, I think curse tokens are just ignored. Curse and Bless tokens, they don't have a modifier. So. Yeah. We have Medical Student. After enters play, heal 1 damage or 1 horror from an investigator or ally at your location. Great card in Leo.
Oh, yeah.
With all the things we said before, and even just like a 1 cost, heal 1 and 1 on Leo himself is also really good.
Yep.
We have Hit Me, which is it's like if Green and Lucky had a baby, that's what it is.
Yeah. No, that's also a very fun card.
Yeah. So you when you would fail a test, after you reveal a Chaos token, not when you fail, you can reveal additional Chaos tokens, switching the minus to a plus, and if that token is a skull, you automatically fail. Very fun design. Yeah. We have been in the thick of it here. This is one of the few videos I imagine this is going to show up on, but this is to buy a Charisma.
Yep.
Yeah. Like,
that's it. Like, Charisma is so integral to Leo that most of the time you're just playing first 3 experience on it anyway. Mm-hmm. You could play in the thick of it in any investigator, but I'm not going to put it in all the videos because we're just like, yeah, you play this if you want 3 experience. But
yeah,
that first Charisma is so good for Leo.
Yeah, there's actually like a home for it. In addition, this one you also could probably pretty comfortably just take the 2 meat trauma because most of your allies soak for... I mean, it's also with Medical Student, you're just like, see ya! You can take 1 and 1 of each, right? And then it's just like not a problem. Mm-hmm. We have Sled Dog. There is a Leo deck. Leo's probably one of the more consistent users of Sled Dogs because he can play them for free and 1 less.
Yep.
I know people love it. I've seen it. I know. I'm happy I've seen it. I don't need to see it again, but try it out if you want to play Sled Dog. This is probably one of the better homes for it.
Yep.
And then we have Defensive Stance, which actually makes your defensive stat of your foot even better. Turns your foot into a 5. That's probably why you're doing it, not to get 1 fist symbol.
Yeah, probably.
That's so funny. I'll commit this for 1 fist symbol.
Yeah, like these cards are good if you just like... It's good if you just really need that foot for whatever... Yeah. Like you're playing Forgotten Age, really, is what it comes down to. You don't want to get snake bitten.
Yeah. Travis, I want to keep this one going.
Yeah, sure. We got our combat training here, which is it's composure, it's fast, limit 1 play. Gives you +1 fist and +1 foot all the time, and then you can pay a resource to get +1 fist or +1 foot during a test. It makes your foot test like you can actually pass foot tests now. Yeah. It makes this card single-handedly makes so you can reasonably pass them. It's quite strong with our well prepared as well, having 2 punch and 2 foot.
Yeah.
And it does soak 3 hearts and 1 brain and requires you to put damage onto it before you put it onto Leo Anderson himself. But the way the rules work, you can put that damage and horror on other allies or items or whatever before you put it on the combat train. Yeah. It's only if you were to put it on Leo himself. Mm-hmm. Next up, we got Gang Up here. This one is a 3-cost event. It lets you fight for each different class. 1 cards you control, you get +1 punch and deal +1 damage to his attack. This one's a pretty solid option because Leo has access to... He likes to have lots of assets in play, and especially some of the multicolor options is not too difficult to get to 3 or 4 colors.
Yeah.
We got Counter Espionage here, which lets you interact with the Mythos deck, and you can just commit for 2 brains if you want the guts. You can use it to eat a foot test that the game is throwing at you. It's a solid card. Mm-hmm. A little pricey with the resources, but we got Cheat the System, which is just a resource generation card. It's here for the same reasons Gang Up is. Yeah. Got our level 2 Red Clock. The Red Clock's pretty good in general. Yeah, the level 2 one, like even though it's not great, is still like very good. Mm-hmm. It gives you stat boosts. It lets you move. It gives you actions. It also gives you money. We got our Black Market here, which is a fantastic setup card for Leo, especially if you don't have access to some of the other ones for whatever reason. Let's pull out some allies. Let's pull out your weapons. Can also help support the synergy cards.
Yep.
If that's something that you're doing, in play cards from other people's decks.
Man, I love that you have no idea for how to do your synergy cards. You're just like, I'll assume I'll get something from other people. That's a great plan.
That's a brain plan.
Yeah, it is.
Next up, we got Michael Lee here. He gives you +1 to your book and your fist. After you successfully investigate, you put a resource on him as evidence, and when you initiate attack, you can exhaust him and spend evidence to deal an extra damage. He also soaks 3 and 3. This is a great
really
card for Leo.
It's probably great in Leo, yeah.
Yeah, boost your punch up to 5, your book up to 4, which is pretty serviceable. Which is good, man.
Yeah.
We got a quick draw holster here. This one's here because I felt like I needed to put it in at least one of the videos. Leo likes guns.
Yeah, it helps the big gun archetype.
That cares about guns, so here you go.
Yeah, this is probably the best home for it, apart from maybe also Tony Morgan could use it. But yeah. This one I built a deck around it, and I was still at the end. I was like, okay, that was cool. But this is the home for it. If you're a Leo big gun deck for sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right. We have Snipe. During the next fight you perform using a ranged or firearm asset, treat each bad token as a 0 token. This card is really good if you're going all in on an attack, right?
Yeah, like a shotgun.
Yes, like a shotgun. Yeah. Speaking of, here's old shotgun. So this one's a little bit weird because when you're playing it with an event, you treat its use value as 0. So you can't you have to build around this gun. Mm-hmm. You have to build around this gun. But it's a shotgun that gives you +3 and you deal damage to the amount that you succeed by, and if you fail, the amount you fail by, to another investigator, to a maximum of 3. Just like basically a combo. They made a shotgun for Bryn. They're like...
yeah.
Yeah.
It's also really nice as level 2, which you can play on sort of the off-class investigators.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a card that's going to just get more fun and maybe even more janky as the card pool continues to expand, which at this point now I'm part of looking at the game, I'm like, how is this even possible?
There are a lot of cards.
Yeah. We have Cyclopean Hammer. This is in our weapon video. It's
a good weapon.
It's a really good weapon. And it's also really good in Leo because you have you attack at 8. Yeah. Man. I like the idea looking at the old shotgun and the hammer next to each other because it's 2 different schools of card design in this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just what if we made a janky weapon, and then it's what if we made the god weapon?
If we made a good weapon, yeah.
Yeah. We have Brandica Thuggas, which we talk about in greater detail in our spell video, but these are really nice in Leo because it's kind of just like a gun.
Yeah, it's a gun that takes up arcane slot instead of a hand slot.
And you also can, in this case, you have 4s for each of your stats, but say, for example, you had a beat cop out, you still are able to use your fist value for this.
Yeah, this is a really nice supporting card for that big gun archetype as well.
Yeah. We got Blur, which allows you to evade with your brain.
Yeah, if you need to evade, then here you go.
Yep.
This is how you can do it.
Yeah. And then we have Bruiser for the talents. The talents pays for armor, firearm, and melee cards, and during a skill test, an armor, firearm, or melee card. Spend a resource, you get +1. It refreshes 2 at the start of each round. If you're playing weapons, I imagine your game is going to be completely different if you have this in your opening hand. So if you're playing big firearms, yeah.
This one really helps Leo scale into the late game where your allies cost lots of money, and then also this can help pay for your weapons, and also you start to feel that base 4 punch as you get into scenario 6, 7, 8 sometimes, and this can help out with that as well. One other thing to notice about this page, look at all the different classes you can play for synergy cards.
Look at that, yeah.
They're just cards that you want to play.
Yeah. Wait, no.
No secret.
There's secret.
He was on the last
over
page.
Here, yeah. Look at that. All right, Travis, why don't you talk about these return to cards?
Yeah, sure. We have a hot streak from our return to Night Zealot, which is just money. Money.
Yes, money.
Yeah.
There's no more to say.
Nope. Return to Dunwich brings us an upgraded Bandolier, which is a great choice. Give you +1 brain as long as you have at least 2 hand slots worth of weapons. And also gives you 2 hand slots instead of just 1. Mm-hmm. Dunwich also brings the upgrade Contraband, which Lets you either place 2 ammo or supply tokens on an asset and draw a card, or double the number of tokens on it, while also only costing 3. Pretty solid choice. I think that's Dunwich. That also brings us to the level 2 Blackjack, where the level 0 version of Blackjack I don't think made it into any of the videos. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
The level 2 version is like fine though.
No, it's not in our weapon video either.
Yeah, like, I mean, the level 2 one probably should.
It should.
Like, the level 0 one is pretty awful, but this one is like pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
It's kind of the inverse machete. We got level 2 survival knife, which is in the weapon video, and it is a very, very, very good card.
Yeah.
Because you get to attack back first.
It's one of those things that every time I've had the opportunity to play 2 survival knives at once, I'm always like, this is probably not the right choice. But then I play it, but it actually is still the right choice. Like, it's still very strong, even if you don't deal 2 damage in the player phase.
Yeah.
Like, you go to a 3 health enemy, you just spend your last action moving to them, and then you're like, you're already dead. Right?
Yeah. We got our level 2 backpack here, which is in our neutral staple video. Basically, you get to look at 12 cards instead of... You get to look at 12 cards, double the cards for half the resources, man.
Yeah, I was literally today musing about how great this card is.
This card is so
It's
good.
very good. I think it's like one of the... If I had to look at like the... Like, if we made like a list video of like the most like crucial cards in the game, or like even just generically strong cards, I think this is one of them.
Yeah, I like almost think this card's like too good. It's so, especially with the low competition for the buy slot, it's just so easy. It's just like, well, I have a bunch of items I want to play, so I'll put this in.
And even if your deck has body slot items, you just play that last.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Next up, we have a new edition, a couple of new editions from the Circle Undone. Return to. We have the Star 17. This one gives all of your assets that have health or sanity, +1 health and +1 sanity, respectively, and you can play for free. Really good with those allies that you like to take damage, and I mean, it's just more stuff.
Just more stuff.
Lastly, we have level 3 Hollow Mirror, which does not actually change the Soothing Melody itself. What it changes is when you play a Soothing Melody, you can either change the heal 2 to heal 3, or you can have it shuffle into your deck instead of discarding it.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's really, really good.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. All right, let me talk about our Investigator decks. Yeah, the level 0 safeguard made it. So we have Greta Wagner. She gives you +1 fist after defeating an enemy, exhaust her, deal 1 damage to her, and discover 1 clue to your location. This is one of the cards that we actually don't bring up often when we talk about like things like Inspiring Presence, but it is notably also good with her. Yeah. The thing about her is that she's like expensive, but Leo makes that basically this is like a beat cop, right, for a Leo deck. So if you're not planning to get an upgraded beat cop, Greta Wagner is a great option to start with as well.
Or if you just want clues, because her upgraded version gives you book as well. If you're playing a book-centric Leo deck, she's a great inclusion.
Definitely. Yeah, so now I need to talk about her when we get to her. That's great.
Yeah.
Safeguard level 0, this is what I talked about earlier, but in this one, they, as I said before, they move to the location before you, and you only can do it once a turn. We have Stand Together, which is legitimately one of my favorite cards.
This card should be in the Stables video, I think.
It probably is, and I probably just forgot to put the tag on it, but it should be below. But like this card is, if I'm playing Guardian, this is in my deck, right? Even to the point like because my curves are really low, and even if my curve is low, I'm going to put this in here because you can help somebody else, right?
Which is kind of always good.
It's always good. It's good in 2-player, 3-player, 4-player. Not great in solo, right?
No.
But we're not really talking about solo here. Solo is a different game.
It's still like okay in solo.
Yeah, it's just economy. Yeah. Mauser, this is a green gun that we talk about in the weapon video. This one you need to succeed by 2 or more to attack with it more than once a turn, or it also can give you money if you succeed by 2 or more. The money is really nice. Like this can be like if you're like talking about like what Travis was saying with the bandolier, you could shoot and then, or even with like the survival knife, shoot, stab, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those things that like probably in Leo you need to work around to make it consistently your weapon, but it is a good backup weapon for...
It pairs well with other things very well,
Yeah. We have Lonnie. She gives you +1 fist, and you can exhaust her to choose an item asset controlled by Investigator location, heal 1 damage from that asset, and 1 horror from Lonnie Ritter, all for the low cost of exhausting her and 1 resource. Yeah. If you don't want to die and there's an item asset that you would want to take advantage of, it's a good option here. Upgraded Greta Wagner, +1 book, and 4 health soak now. Yeah. We have Galvanize. You can ready a Guardian asset you control, and you take an additional action during this turn, which can only be used to fight, which is probably what you're going to be doing. You're going to like want to use this to maybe like bring back something. It could be like bring back a Greta Wagner, a Beat Cop, other things that exhaust. Like if you're doing a Butterfly Swords Leo build because you're a maniac, right?
Yeah.
You could do that too. Yeah, just a cool card.
Michael Lee.
Michael Lee, yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, you get 2 vicious blows out of him.
I think he exhausts.
Yeah, he exhausts on the vicious blow side of him. Yeah. We have Lesson Learned. Fast players take damage from an enemy attack. Discover 2 clues at your location. If only you had Soak. If only.
Yeah, if only taking damage wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. All right, I'll finish this off, Travis, because you have a deck to talk about coming up. Oh, this is easy. Overpowered, the upgraded one. By no means a priority upgrade, but if you're looking at what to do in the like going into scenario 8, just upgrade your overpowers if they're still in your deck.
Yep.
If you succeed by 2, you get to draw 2 cards now. Physical training is kind of wild.
It really is.
Yeah. So it's a 2 cost, 2 resources, and they replenish those resources at the start of each round. Spend 1 resource from it, or your resource pool, which I always seem to forget.
Yeah, you can just spend your money on it like normal.
You get +1 brain or +1 fist
Yeah.
for this skill test. So those are the stats that we've been talking about that are really good with Leo. So this is a nice option for that.
This cycle is so boring, but it's so good.
Yes. It's one of those things where, like, most of the time I feel bad about upgrading into them, but then when you play with them, you're like, oh, this is actually kind of really sick.
Yeah.
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 We got the upgraded Mauser. It now gives you +2, and to succeed by 2 or more, and if you succeed by 4 or more, you do both. So just upgrade it. We talk about that in greater
Unlikely,
detail.
but possible.
But possible, yeah. Not something you should bank on, but you might. And then we have the Liquid Courage, the 1 experience 1. So Britton always says that the Liquid Courages, the like upgrading isn't necessarily to make the card better. It's to support a different play style of the card.
Yeah.
So with this one, if they test succeeds, they draw 1 card. If they fail, they heal 1 additional horror and discard 1 card at random from their hand, which I believe in the other one, that something else happened. Bryn would know it, I don't.
It's like if you pass, they get the extra horror, and if they fail, they just discard card. Right?
Yeah. So now this one they get to draw a card, and if it fails, they heal. So this is like the one where you're like looking to fail because it has a lot more horror packed up into it. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things that like Liquid Courage doesn't necessarily mean it's better. It just means it's for a different style of deck. All right, Travis, what's this Leo deck?
It's really basic.
Like Leo is.
Yeah. We've got our first thing you're going to notice is we are in the thick of it to get Charisma early, which is very very handy for our big pile of stuff. You'll also notice there's only 2 green cards in the deck. And that's because they're only green cards. No, just kidding. It just didn't really fit with what I had going on here.
Yeah.
We got our Machete, 2 Survival Knives, and 2 45 Thompsons hanging out here for weapons. As well as 2 Prepared for the Worst to find them. You should be able to find weapons fairly consistently. We got 2 Bandoliers for lets you basically roll around with 45 Thompson and like a survival knife for Machete as a backup, and then really supports you kind of going into multiple deck playstyles where you can go into big gun Leo. You already have the Bandoliers, you already have the 45 Thompson, you have the survival knife. You could also just like take out the 45 Thompsons and move into more melee weapons or one handguns and stuff like that. For our ally suite, we have 2 Beat Cops for the Fist, we have 2 Guard Dogs for the Soak, we have Mitch Brown because we have to, we have Adventurer to make our Thompsons last a little bit longer, and we have 2 Tetsuo Mori to help find things as well. He's also very good at finding our Bandolier.
Yeah.
Should we need that. Events, we got 2 Let Me Handle This, we got 2 Calling in Favors, we have 2 Emergency Cash, 2 Faustian Bargain for our money. Pretty basic stuff there. And then our skills, we have Steadfast, because we care about those stats, Take the Initiative for Mythos, the Mythos Face Protection, and then our Inspiring Presence, because it works particularly well with some of our cards.
Yeah. Notably, this deck is like a really good, like apart from even the Charisma, just the Mitch Brown. This is a really good Mitch Brown deck for a level 0 deck too.
Yeah, and you know, as always, these decks aren't like meant to be leaning into a particular archetype. Yeah. They're just something you could give someone, be like, yeah, here, make it, you can upgrade it to kind of whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a solid deck.
All right, another expanded guide down. I suppose I'm going to also say this right now because I imagine there are going to be some people wondering. When the new Scarlet Keys expansion comes out, we are not going to be doing them in the expanded guides. Mostly because if you look back when we started the expanded guides, because we didn't really know the Edge of the Earth cards, there was like every Edge of the Earth card that they could play, right? They're a lot more focused now, like we know which cards are good. So instead of adding them to this, making these videos longer, we're going to be focusing on cycles with Scarlet Keys. And also that gives us time to play with them and truly know what homes that these cards will be in. Because I know there's going to be people wondering about that, but these cards are just going to stay, the expanded guides are just going to stay with up to Edge of the Earth.
Yeah, there's like 15 Veskiers. Doing these videos takes us like a year.
Yes.
At one a week, so...
Yeah,
it's tough to commit to doing that again.
And we don't even do one a week. We do these every 2 weeks, so...
Really?
Yeah, we do. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Huge thank you to all our patrons. Next week, I don't think I've said it yet, but we're doing Parallel Daisy next week.
Gross.
So that should be fun. I actually, honestly, I don't even know what her deck building stipulations are.
I don't remember writing that one.
Yeah. No, you did. I did check. You do have that one. But thank you so much. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks for another expanded guide. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for another video on the channel. Or hell, right now, if you want to click one of the videos that's somewhere on your screen, because they appear everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. And as always, a GG's.